Hello my friends and welcome to this playthrough for the Rookie Division in the Desert Open Tournament. This video is sponsored by Playdemic and Golf Clash, and let's go. First and foremost, we're going to go with the rock here. The reason we're going with the rock is to use the ball guideline that we do have with the rock and combine with the accuracy. So, and we're going to use max topspin here to get it over the fairway on top. And then you maybe think like, oh, can't I use a quarterback instead? Yes, you can use a quarterback. It does have the same type of distance. The thing that I would love for you to think about is that when you're having the rock like we have, or having the quarterback that works basically in a similar way, is that you're using a ball with at least a little bit of power. Navigator Quasar will be enough. The reason for that is that both like Lorik here that we play against is having a quarterback level 10. And quarterback level 10 of course have more distance than a quarterback level 4, level 5, which is the most common club while playing from the front tee like in the Rookie Division. And that's the same with the rock. You most likely have that in 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it requires a little bit more distance instead of you will be having that one maxed. When you get it over there with your rock, with the quarterback, with your extra mile, then you do have a lot of distance towards the pin. Here you can see us playing again with a basic ball. And sure, we have the Guardian level 8. But in the end, that's why use a ball with some power if you do have less upgraded clubs. So, and you're most likely going to have a big dog, you're going to have a Viper, but I would choose the big dog here due to the distance of that club. That club has the same amount of distance that the Guardian have max, like 180 yards. The Guardian has 179, so it's very similar. So we get it very close here. We use 2 bars of backspin on our shot. We did adjust a little bit first for the to counter for the crosswind that we do have. Then I did adjust according to the ring guide, which means our club is 1.2 miles per hour per ring, and then we adjust for 5 rings while we had 6 miles per hour in wind. So our opponent is going to have the Hammerhead. The Hammerhead is not a club that is that commonly featured, because it kind of works the same as a sniper. Like, it's kind of this in-between club in the way that it has some good abilities, but there is wood clubs that is better than the Hammerhead, especially in the first few levels. So gets down there, and this was hole number 1. So using a rock, using quarterback will definitely be enough. It has the ball guideline that will help you a lot, and then combined with the easier task when it comes to hitting that ball perfect or great and still getting it to get over the rough on top there. So as you can see, we are very close. We're going to putt it in, take the eagle, and that is what you are hopefully are hoping to do, at least in the tournament. So hole number 2, and hole number 2 is going to be a par 4. So it's going to be very interesting here to see how we're going to play hole number 2, because hole number 2 is one of the new holes. And yes, we do have new holes. 5 new holes! I just love it. I'm so excited. So hole number 2. As you can see here now, we are going to play with a Quasar here. Give ourselves the distance for our both drive and then for the second shot. Sure, you can play with a Titan, you know. You can definitely play that, and we are actually going to change to that. So the reason we change and take the Titan is to get ourselves the distance for the second shot. We're not going to use any topspin. We are actually going to choose the left side, and maybe that looks a little bit trickier than going on the right side or in the middle, but it will give us a more open shot towards the pin, because the problem we get by going in the middle is that we're having trees and a bunker in play. And then on the right side, we're still going to have the same, and those approaches going to be very tricky. Sure, going on the right side there, with having a lot of topspin, like for example the big topper, it's going to give you more topspin that maybe are necessary for the drive, but at least put you up as high as possible on the fairway on the right. That could be a play, but it's always risky to go with a lot of topspin while going for your drive. So we are going to go with the safe route, going on the left side, giving ourselves an opportunity, but still not an easy opportunity when it comes to our approach to the green. But the thing that we're going to do, at least, is that we're going to go with a big dog. We're going to go with a big dog because we do need distance. So that is the only problem that we're going to be having while going on the left side, going and having a lot of yards towards the pin. So we're going to adjust a little bit more than 2 rings here with our big dog. We go with 2.5 bar of backspin combined with side spin to the right. Maybe going with a little bit too much side spin here, but we do get roll that we do want to, coming in a good speed towards the pin to maybe, if we're lucky enough, to make an eagle. So as you can see there, it gave us an open shot towards the pin, and we're going to see here most likely for our opponent's 3rd shot. And I really admire our opponent here that's actually up playing just with beginner driver and beginner clubs mostly already on tour 4, which is excellent in my opinion. So as you can see here now, while just looking at that view, we had our opponent there, even though reaching over, had very much distance towards the pin. And then you're going to have trouble because they need to curl, side spin, etc. So we go to hole number 3. We're going to play this one with the Saturn max side spin, 1 bar of topspin. And as you can see, the tree there in the middle takes away the opportunity to make the rough bump or make the sand bump towards the pin. So it's a smart move from the game makers to take that away, otherwise that would be the way to play in my opinion. So we're going to adjust for a little bit more than 2 rings with our Saturn, going with max curl. Important, because like the key on this hole, important to have side spin on your ball. It's important to have curl on your club. If you do have more side spin, like for example the Katana or the Kingmaker, then you can go with the 1 bar of topspin. If you're having the side spin of a Quasar combined with the curl of the one that we have on the Saturn, then you can go with half a bar of topspin instead, to just counter a little bit for that. We're going to come in straighter towards the green with less side spin or less curl. And of course, if you're having more curl on your club than I had, then definitely you can go with a Quasar, go with 1 bar topspin, because the thing that we want is that we want the ball to come up, fall back down, and as you can see as well, for those that have been playing this hole before, then they have removed the bumpy part that often did make you fall short make you fall short when it comes to your approach out towards the pin. So hole number 4 now actually, and this is a hole where everything needs to be spot on to be able to make that eagle, or at least making that birdie. We're going to go with max overpower with the rock, and the rock here gives us an easier way to hit perfect combined with the ball guideline, so we can actually see where we do land. So, and also important to show that with a rock, with a basic ball, we are able to reach over to the second fairway. But in general, when it comes to this hole, I do suggest you're using a driver with a little bit more distance combined with a ball that do have some distance. That, for example, the Titan for that one. And that is not maybe because of the drive that needs that much distance. It's because of the second shot. Because the second shot, you do want to go for the rough bump. And the rough bump, in my opinion, is definitely the best way to make an eagle. And otherwise, of course, you can bounce yourself over to the green, but then you should be very pleased with getting a birdie. So we're going to see here now, as you will be able to see here, we're having the Guardian. We're not having a ball with distance, so we lose a lot of yards by going with a basic ball. So this would be basically like going with a Sniper level 4, level 5, a Viper level 6, level 7 combined with a Titan ball, as we're doing now with our Guardian. Sure, I would suggest going with a big dog if you're not having any other club that do have some distance. The big dog gives you an opportunity that we can just take away the overpowering part because it's not necessary. So we get it to the rough there, we bounce, and we get it close. We get so close to make that eagle that we do want. So the rough bump, 2 bars of backspin is that the thing that you want. You do need distance for this hole, both club wise and ball wise. And as you can see here, even if you do have a good sandwich, you will not by any means be able to reach for this green in 2 if you put yourself in the bunker or in the rough. So then it's just to try. I would play myself up short, going for the rough bump, but I don't blame him for trying here, because due to the wind could help drag a little bit here. There is one more thing with this hole as well, is that the approach shot especially is affected a little bit more by the wind. So if you're using the ring system, add 1 more ring with your adjustment. If you're not, add approximately like 10%, 10-50% more, 15% more with your shot, and then you're going to be good for that second shot. So my friends, this was hole number 4, and we're going to go and focus on hole number 5. And hole number 5 is going to be a par 3, and I would say, like, when we come to that par 3, it's the first time that hole has ever been featured in a tournament, and I'm glad that it actually have been like that, because it's a hard hole. It's a very tough one to make a par 3, but still we're going to wait a little bit with that and wait to see our opponent here on hole number 4. Going for the rough bump, even with the sandwich, it's possible, but again, it's going to be very tough to get this one in the hole, even though our friend here is going to be close with an overpower sandwich. Hitting that one great, going to come in with the bounce, going to come in a little bit with a perfect that would have been going in. So that was a nice shot, and now, my friends, it's time for hole number 5. So we're going to play this one with the Saturn. We're going to do one mistake here. I'm going to explain why when we made the shot. We're going to play on the side here, because I do not feel that the rough bump is going to be consistent enough for us. We're going to go with 2 rings with our Saturn, combined with 2 bars backspin, combined with as much curl as possible. This amount of curl is going to be enough many of the times, but I would love to get just a little bit more curl or a little bit more side spin. But most of all, I would love for us to remove, so we only would have half a bar of backspin or 1 bar of backspin while having headwind, because that is the mistake that we do. We are having 5 miles per hour in headwind. Of course, it's not going to affect our ball like a lot, but it's still going to affect it enough so the ball will stop very short in this case. So we would like to get 2 bars of backspin if we do have tailwind. If we're having side wind, then we can go with 1 bar of backspin. If we're having headwind, we can go with half a bar of backspin and playing on the side there. Because the thing that we again want to take away is the rough bump, because we never know how that will actually be ended up. So my friends, it's time for hole number 6 now, and hole number 6 is going to be one of the new holes. So hole number 6, 7, 8, 9, so 4 holes left to go. All of them are new holes, so it's going to be awesome to show you them all. So we're going to start off here by playing hole number 6, and hole number 6, then you can play left side, you can play right side. The left side looks way trickier, but it's the best way to play. Because sometimes, even though it looks easier on other way, we need to think 2-3 steps ahead of ourselves. Like, okay, if I play my drive left or right, how will I end up with my second shot then? Will I be able to have a good opportunity for an albatross in this case, or will I just be having to land it on green without having any type of opportunity whatsoever? Sure, there is never an easy opportunity for an albatross, but at least we do want to have a few percentage in opportunities. So 5.7, we're going to go with max top, no side spin whatsoever. We're going to go with a one-time bounce over to the third fairway there. You can actually play yourself via a double bounce while bouncing from first fairway, second fairway, and then roll down to the next fairway after that. The reason we want to go with a single bounce is that we will be able to reach far more further than our opponent did, as you remember, while using the rough there. So we bounce one time over, getting ourselves as close to the top there as possible. And the reason we want to go as close there as possible is that we're going to have a long way towards the pin. As you can see here now, a basic ball with the big dog is not going to be enough, especially if you're going short there on the left side. Then you do want to have more distance. That will then require a Titan ball, or maybe like a Kingmaker ball. And I know you shouldn't be spending that many Kingmakers while playing in the first division, but in the end you do need to have power 3 here on this particular shot. As you will be able to see now for our turn, is that we are going to have the big dog, we're going to have a Quasar, but we're still going to be short. So then we need to rely on feeling combined with the topspin on our club, and that is not something that we do want to have, especially if we would be finding ourselves with some tricky wind. So take yourself a wood club that do have distance, take a ball with power. So a big dog combined with a Titan would be my way to say that you're spot on with your selection. And then of course you need to make a really good drive to be able to make this green in 2. We're using, as you can see, a couple of bars topspin. We're still going to come in a little bit short, but still we're going to end up on the green for an easy eagle. And that I do believe is will be the common thing here on hole number 6, that either you get an easy eagle or you're going to struggle to get the eagle. I don't see this as a common albatross hole, to be honest. So we are going to summon this one up, hole number 6, that, as I said before, distance is required. So we're going to go to hole number 7 now, and hole number 7 is going to be a double tutorial or double guide, because I'm going to show 2 ways how to play hole number 7. And I think it's important when it comes to a par 3 to show different ways to play the hole. So then I'm going to show you 2 types of play. The first one is going to be the rough bump. The second one is going to be the bounce on the fairway just before the rough on top there. So, and as you can see, this is a tricky par 3, my friends. And you know, we should always look for a way to make an hole in one, always. But if that way is going to be very, very, very tough, and we risk enough to putting ourselves in a situation where we maybe make a par instead, like this for an example, hitting it in the rough, then it's going to be something that we need to think about at least. So we're going to play ourselves in the rough there. We're using a big dog here, we're using a Quasar, and as you can see, that is going to be enough if you're having side wind or some kind of tailwind. Headwind is not going to be enough, so I do suggest that you actually, if you're going to play with a rough bump, that you use a Titan, especially if you're having headwind. If there is tailwind in the tournament or side wind, then don't bother, then you can play with a Quasar, or you can also play with a Navigator. So we're going to adjust our big dog here by going in the rough bump. We're not using any type of backspin or side spin, and as you can see here, we're going to get a good roll here on the green. A little bit too much to the left though, but we blame the less ball guideline for that. But still, we get the speed right, and we're getting it close to the pin for an hole-in-one. At least we secure a very easy birdie. So my friends, that was the first way that I want to show you here on hole number 7. The second way is going to be by bouncing it on the fairway before the rough there on top. So we're not going to play the rough bump here on this particular tutorial, and you can, as our opponent here with the beginner wood, you can go by using that fairway that he is using, but it's going to be very tricky to get a double bounce over to the green and still going to get close for an hole-in-one. I would say it's almost impossible to make an hole-in-one in that way, in my opinion. There's so many things that need to be be like spot on for that. So gets into the rough, and I believe many players, especially when you haven't played the holes before and going into a tournament, then you're going to have a tough time knowing how to play this hole, and then you will end up in the bunker or in the rough. We're going to bounce there 3.5 bar backspin. As you can see, we are very close there to the left side, combined with short on that fairway platform. So I would love for us to actually have a little bit more backspin on our club. Maybe change it out to using a Viper with a little bit more backspin, or another wood club with a little bit more backspin. So 3.5 bar backspin, bounce over here. We do get it to roll towards the pin in a good way. So the only way that I wanted to have more backspins, not that we can't reach the pin, is to have an adjustment where we don't have to be so close to the rough while doing our adjustment, you know. So hole number 8, another new hole, and again, I love new holes. It's such a big challenge, and it's like you start to think again, and of course you think all the time, but you start to think about like, okay, where to put my ball, etc, etc, etc. So we're going to go on the left side here. I know that you can play this one on the right side as well, but like if you're going to go short on the right side, you're going to have the trees in play. So a little bit less than 2 rings with our extra mile level 5, going with a Quasar due to side spin that we do want to have. Sure, we could go with a Titan, but I'm going to explain why it's not necessary just in a bit. So topspin here gives us a roll here here to the left. A little bit lucky though, because we did hit our shot great, but now we're going to have an open shot towards the pin for making the rough bump. The way to go on the right side is to use a Titan, and the Titan is necessary in the way that gives you a little bit of distance, and then you will be able, together with the topspin on your club, to bounce over the rough on the right side to put yourself on the fairway, like I would call it like the second fairway on the right. Not like this fairway you are, not the first one on the right, but the second part of the right one. A trickier drive, but could put yourself up for a short iron towards the pin, and then in that way then you can decide on how you want to play, and you don't have to play it with the rough bump. But we do love to play with the rough bump, my friends, and that is the thing that we're going to do. So we're going to aim up here. As you can see, we're going to have the Saturn basically medium distance, which is not going to be affected then by the wind that much. And of course we do have 1.5 mile per hour, which is not much. So we choose to make this attempt with 1.5 bar of topspin. I would say go with 1 bar of topspin. It's going to be definitely enough. And the reason we're using the rough bump is that we either like instead of going with the rough bump, then we need to go short on the green to give ourselves a club with a lot of backspin. As you can see, I did shoot through the palm leaves there, and that is going to be something that you can do. You can't shoot through the tree, but you can shoot through the leaves, so that is not going to be a problem for you. But of course you do want to have as little obstacles close to yourself, you know. So our opponent here went into the rough, and then it will not be able to reach for the green in 2. And as you can see, we're going to putt it in for a birdie, and I believe like hole number 8 is going to be the easiest one to get some an extra shot to your scorecard. So please put yourself on the fairway and give yourself the opportunity to make an eagle from distance. So now when we are played 8 holes, we're going to play the hole that is going to be the toughest one in the tournament. And the reason I'm starting to talk about this already now is because we need to talk about it a little bit more than normally, because this par 5 is amazingly designed in the way that it gives us a very, very tough time to make the green in 2. And when it comes to a par 5, we always find a kind of an easy way to get to the green in 2, no matter how the hole is designed. But when it comes to the front tee, like in the rookie division, you most of the times are not having the clubs or the balls to be able to make like trick shot, like hook and slice shots with maxed curl and stuff like that you can do on like a maxed out sniper, etc. So we're going to start off here by using max topspin with our extra mile combined with side spin to the right. We're using a Titan because, yeah, believe me, we need distance. And of course now we can't hit our ball great to the left side, which we do because that will remove some of the curl and we will come in a little bit straighter than we wanted to. And we do want to come way closer to the right side of the rough to give ourselves as little distance as possible towards the pin. But in the end, you can see here for our drive that you can play it straight forward if you want to. It's going to be very, very tricky to get over there as you do have the bunker in play. But then you do have another problem, is that you're going to be having a very tough time to reach anyway. So I do consider the left side to be the easier way to at least give yourself an opportunity to make an eagle. And now when we come to our second shot, and you're going to see me try something that is a very, very tough shot, and that is going to be to show you that you need to play your second shot to at least give yourself an opportunity to make an eagle, either from distance or from the rough or from the sand close to the pin. As you can see here, we do not have the curl, we do not have the side spin to be able to land this one easily on the green. So we're going to have to wing it just a little bit and go a lot by feeling here to see if we can land this ball remotely close towards the pin. The risk we take here by doing this type of shot while having to overpower combined with curl and side spin is that we can put this ball in the water if we are unlucky, or we can put our ball in the rough short. But I do believe when it comes to playing from the rough close to the pin, the only thing that you need to do, is that you need to hit your ball perfect. If you do hit your ball perfect, then you are going to be able to make that eagle, even though you didn't make it, even though you didn't find yourself a way to make a putt for it. The other way to play is to do like our opponent is doing, and now of course is to try to go as close to the top there as possible instead of finding yourself far away from the pin. And we're going to take a couple of seconds here to kind of just go through that again. It's like, while looking at this course, this is going to be a birdie hole in general. I will be very, very surprised to see many eagles on this hole. I do consider absolutely this to be a key hole in the way. Do you find a way to put yourself up and to make an eagle, then you definitely will gain one stroke against your opponents in your bracket. And so it's two ways: either play up short, or you go for putting yourself in the rough or in the bunker, or maybe you're lucky enough because you do have the curl, you do have the side spin, that you can actually put yourself on the fringe or on the green, just a little at least. Then of course it's going to be an eagle. But other way, putting yourself up short, then it requires one more thing, and that thing is backspin. Because you can see the pin stands short from that position, which mean in that way that you need to have backspin on your wedge / short iron to be able to make that shot and go close to the pin. We ship it in from the bunker because we did hit our ball perfect, and I do believe like it's up to you to decide actually how you want to play the second shot. Play up short or play yourself over to the other side and have a short one towards the eagle. But in the end, this hole requires distance. It requires curl, it requires side spin, it requires basically everything. And those holes we do love, but this is going to be a tough par 5, and if we manage to make an eagle on it, then we're going to be very, very pleased. But if we are not, then we're not going to be sad. We're going to take the birdie and focus a little bit more maybe to take something extra on any other hole. So my friends, thanks for watching this playthrough for the Rookie Division with 5 new holes of the Oasis. The tournament is called Desert Open and the video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. If you do have any questions, please pick up in the comment section below, and in the end I want to wish you the best of luck in the Desert Open tournament.